What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia Talks. I am your host, Natalie, and in this week's episode, I have my best friend with me.
Hello. How's it going, everyone? My name is Patricio Lopez.
I was like, maybe say your name.
I am the best friend in question. Very happy to be here. Thank you very much, Natalie, for having me here today. Very dope occasion. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
But I'm happy to be here. What is it that we're here talking about today?
Okay, so for anybody that doesn't know us, it probably won't seem like a big deal.
We need a little bit of
like
backstory.
Saying this,
huh?
Yeah. But just to preface, like what this is gonna be about, you and I went on our first date, and that's like really, really crazy. People who don't know us aren't gonna think it's crazy, but to us and like people who know us think it's
it's
crazy.
it might sound like a total nerd, but y'all ever hear of a canon event in Spider-Man? it's kind of the best way I can compare.
Yeah.
But
I think even if people haven't seen,
they'll know what it
they'll
means.
know. Yeah, they'll know.
So just, I guess, a little bit, I don't know if you want to, maybe just
some
a little bit of
We
background.
can like piggyback off of each other and what we say.
Perfect.
But
So it's all the way back.
Yeah.
All
So
the way back.
okay, I will say, so we met in 5th grade. So I was like 10.
It's more like you found out of my existence in 5th grade. It's more like what?
No, we met in 5th grade. And I was like 10.
I was like
most
10
likely
too.
11.
Or
I think you were
11.
probably 11 because I was younger than everybody.
Yeah.
So I was 10. You were probably 11. And well, now we're both 21, but you're turning 22 in a couple weeks.
So I think
I don't know when I'm putting this out, but you're turning 22 very soon. And I don't turn 22 for
until September.
Yeah, until September. So
a few months to go.
Yeah. So it's been a very long time.
It has
since
been
we've known each other.
It's kind of crazy.
But yeah, I mean, we've known each other since then.
Yeah.
But you can like say what your experience with that is, because yours is like much more significant, I think, than like what I could tell, especially because a lot of the things that I know from that time, I like just recently learned.
Yeah, you have.
So I don't know.
At that point, like, since like I kind of had this like vision in my head, I think things are a lot more crazy than they are on your side. But pretty much, just kind of throwing it all the way back to 5th grade. I had just moved from Mexico not too long ago, so I had really poor English. It was really bad, and I didn't have that many friends. One of my best friends back in 5th grade was this guy named Nathan. Love Nathan to death. He's a homie. And then along with some other friends, Elijah, kind of met some of them later on down the way, David, Adrian, really cool guys, but mostly hung out with Nathan. He was my main guy. And so from my point of view, my perspective, for those of you that are familiar with John Muir and the way things were kind of...
Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's really gonna know.
Probably not. But anyway, so pretty much there was kind of the way it all started was just there was this game in the playground that I tell Matt about that till this day is absolutely insane. But I saw her one day playing in the playground this one game. It was like a map with colors on the floor, like all the states were colored in different colors. And I guess these kids like made up that game eventually, where you just kind of like play tag in the states, but you can only jump in your color.
Yeah. You could only jump on specific colors. Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's all I remember about that game.
Yeah. And so I saw her play that game, and 5th grade me not knowing anything of anything, I was like, oh, that girl's kind of cute. Like, what the hell do I know?
No, little kids, like young kids, can have crushes.
Yeah. I think so.
I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. So I guess you can call it a crush. That's how it all started. And so I would ask my friend Nathan how to... I would ask him how to talk in English, say specific things to see if I could trying to flirt with
Which
you.
I think that's so sweet. Like, imagine just like a 10, 11-year-old boy like trying his hardest to, like, he just came from Mexico and he's like trying his hardest to, like, I don't know, get
Piece
this girl's
words together.
attention.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, that's so cute. No, it wasn't. That's not bad.
Well,
That's
no.
actually really, really cute. Like, that's really sweet.
But yeah, so that's kind of how like it all started. Like I would ask my friend Nathan, and he'd tell me how to say stuff, and then I'd try to attempt to play the game with you guys and get embarrassed by all of you because you guys were all so good, and I would just try to like, oh, like, good job, like whatever I could come up with. And so yeah, ever since then it's been a kind of like a ongoing thing. That's kind of what started things off. And then, you know, 5th grade dance or whatever, you know, that tragedy of you
Damn.
or the I don't even know what it was, like a dance, wasn't it? The 5th grade, like when was it a yearbook signing thing, or
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
when
Like,
you
what
were
are you
signing my
referring
little
to?
5th grade yearbook?
Oh yeah. That
was
was
it like a dance, or what was that?
no. That was when we had like a yearbook signing
It was like, yeah.
event or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So that happened.
Yeah, and so yes, I, you know, might have possibly gone up to you and asked you for a phone number.
Yeah.
And I got a phone number, and that's
Yeah.
where I'm gonna leave it.
Well, no, don't leave it. Like, you thought that I had
A phone
given
for
you
some
a
reason.
fake
Yeah,
number,
for a while.
which
yeah.
I can't imagine myself doing that. I think that I probably gave you my
Your
mom or my
mom's.
dad's number, because obviously I didn't have a phone
Yeah.
at the time, and we didn't have a landline. Like, we didn't have a home number, so I must have given you either my mom's or my dad's.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah, I can't
And-
imagine that I would give you
Yeah.
a
No,
fake
there's
number,
that would have been kind of
because I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a lot of things from when we were younger
yeah.
in my life, so I can't say exactly like how I thought of you like in 5th grade,
Mhm.
but I know that I thought you were my friend and I liked you, like, not like that
As a
obviously, but like
friend.
I liked you,
Yeah.
and so I can't imagine that I would give you a fake number.
Yeah, cause yeah, like at that point, like we had, you know, had a few talks, and I, you know, I also got kind of to an extent close to Abigail, and through her, like we would like hang out very occasionally to like whatever, and like, you know,
Yeah.
during lunch and stuff. But so it wasn't like, oh, you were like avoiding me, of course.
Yeah. Oh, and for people, like, we can't just mention names and like
Yeah.
not. But for people who don't know, my friend Abigail, I've known for a really long time because we
Yeah.
played softball together, and then we ended up going to school together, and she's a mutual friend that me and Pat have now. So like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where, yeah, so we would like hang out like occasionally. So it wasn't like, you know, I was like a complete stranger or
Yeah.
anything at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah. And then I think because 5th grade you go on to middle school, and we would hang out with the same exact
Yeah.
people, like the same group of
Yeah,
people.
and then middle school came around.
So yeah, like pretty much all of middle school, I want to say, until I think about 8th grade is when we would hang out.
Their own groups.
Yeah, we would hang out with the same people pretty much
Mhm.
all through middle school, except for 8th grade is when I like started hanging out with different people.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still sometimes like go over to you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, you would. Yeah,
and
you'd bounce
talk to you
around.
guys. So it's not like I was ignoring you guys either.
No,
Like,
yeah.
it wasn't that sort of thing.
Mhm.
It was just, I think I was just,
Never-
making new friends, which I think was good for me because I was just hanging out with all guys.
all guys.
And,
Yeah, you were
so
the
I,
only girl.
so yeah, I think it was a good thing that I
Yeah.
was like branching out more. But
Which is great. It's great.
Yeah.
You know, making your own friends and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's always been the same group of guys
Mhm.
since like forever.
Because even after middle school, we went to high school, and freshman year, I would hang out with you guys
yeah.
a lot. The
Yeah,
majority
yeah.
of freshman year.
Yeah, whenever like your lunches wouldn't correlate with
Mhm.
like your friends and stuff, you'd come and hang out with us. So
Yeah.
it's always been like an ongoing thing. Like we've known
Yeah.
each other for like a fat
Yeah,
minute
we've
now.
been in each other's lives for a long time, but I think it's like, it's just funny because like you've always been a part of my life, but not like, it wasn't like, you weren't a super super prominent part of my life until like after high school,
Yeah.
like senior year of high school.
Yeah.
I think.
Like we could always like we always knew like we could lean on each other like if
Yeah.
we ever needed anything or
Yeah.
you know stuff like that. But like it's like that type of best friend that you can like not talk to necessarily like all the time, But then when you do talk to them, it's like, oh, like, you know, you're catching up and
Yeah.
like you're really, really close either way. Like it,
Yeah.
like no matter how long or like how much time you spend without like, you know, being with each other, like,
Yeah.
you still click right away.
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how you perceived our friendship. I don't know, like, your point of view on it, which you can share that. But I thought we were always close friends, but I didn't think that we were best friends, I think, until, like, senior year
After
of high
senior
school.
year.
No, like, I think, like, during,
And
like, towards the end of
I was
senior
gonna say,
year of
end
high
the
school.
senior year, more like really towards the end, and then really after graduation.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
yeah, no, and I agree with you. Like it was like that whole thing where it was like close friends. Like same thing for like that distance that you were doing your own thing, I was doing my own thing, my group
Yeah.
of friends. So it was that close friends thing until we started getting a little more like one-on-one time, or like more like, you know, I started driving, so I'd pick you up or hang out.
Yeah.
Like more,
Yeah,
a little more.
I think that's what really did it, is like us finally being able to drive and stuff.
Yeah, to
I
get
think-
like a little more like one-on-one like hangouts, like to like
Yeah.
bond. And
But I will say, like, even before we started actually driving, we would hang out. You can hear the
that's
sirens.
loud. Yeah, that's loud.
but anyways, like, you could, I think we would still hang out,
Yeah, no, we would.
like, before that. We would still hang out before that. Like, we would find
Like time.
ways and, like, stuff to do
Yeah.
and hang out.
Even if it was just
Yeah.
like hanging out at your house and stuff.
Yeah. And, like, you've just always been, like, somebody that I can count on, which is really nice.
Mhm.
Because I've had friends, and, like, I have really, really great friends now. Like, I love my friends. But you are always somebody that, like, I was able to definitely count on, which was nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's always nice finding like consistency with like
Mhm.
people. Like I know with my friend group, like that's like the reason why I keep them so close, because it's like always consistent. Like there's never been a moment where I feel like I can't count on them or anything.
Yeah.
And I find that with you too, which is like nice, because it's, you know, it's always been consistent. Like, you know, it's always been like, you know, I can, you know, count on you if, you know, worst comes to worst, anything
Yeah.
happens there. So yeah, that's kind of where things kind of kicked off after senior year, moving
Yeah.
on onto that. Then, you know, we both kind of, you know, went our own ways, like exploring life and relationships and stuff. And I think, at least for me, it's been like a weird thing where, you know, it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's like hard not to like develop some sort of like crush, even if you just admit it to yourself, like to an extent, like telling yourself like, oh no, like you can't have a crush on her. And I, you know, and it's good that we were always able to be like really close friends without like having any sort of feelings for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But guilty as charged, I would have my moments. And, you know, but even then we were always really good about talking about it, and like you never
Yeah.
invalidated me like in any way.
Yeah.
It was just more like a mutual agreement,
Yeah.
like, oh, it's fine where we're at, and you know, it is what it is.
Yes, but I will, like, it is important to note that, like, you would see a possibility of things.
Yeah,
But, like,
yeah.
I wouldn't. And, like, I feel like that's important to note,
It
because
is.
like how
We viewed
drastically things have like changed.
Uh-huh.
But also, like, just to say out loud, like, you, and I'm not saying this as a way to like take a jab at you, like, I'm really not saying this in that way, but like, you did always consider that, and you did always see that as a
and it's
possibility, like
different,
me and
yeah.
you, but I didn't. And it wasn't because, like, maybe I didn't like you or something. It was just because, like, I didn't want to open that door. Like, I was just like, I
It's a
really,
scary
like,
door
I
to
am
open.
not, well, yeah, but it was
is.
more for me that, like, I've never had somebody who's like so consistent in my life, and somebody that I could like actually count on. And I was like, I finally have that with you. And I was like, I don't want to jeopardize that. I don't want to even like try to see you in like a romantic kind of way, because I was like, I don't want that to happen. Like, I don't want to try that, and like, what if it doesn't work, and then I just like lose the friendship. And I never wanted to do that, and I was just so adamant on that, and I was like, I'm not doing it, it's not happening. So I just, like, I think that's an important thing to know.
It is, no, very important. And it's just, it comes down to that different thing where it's like like, I don't want to say that's like the sole reason, but like the reason we became friends was because I had a crush on you. In the end of the day, that's always what it was. Like when I was little, I had a crush on you, and we ended up being just friends. And that kind of always is gonna put this like things into perspective, in which like, you know, no matter what, like you were still like my crush since I was little. So it's like that thing where it's kind of hard to shake off or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'd have moments where I still see you kind of like as a crush, like, and then you of course wouldn't necessarily, because you from the beginning saw me not as a crush but as a friend. So it kind of like, you know, puts things into perspective of like why it is that which is where consistent, like to like in that sense of just trying to keep the friendship, not risking it, and in a good way, of course, because me, you know, we'd have those talks and I'd be like, no, like, you know what, like you're right, and that makes sense, because things do occasionally turn ugly for some people, and then they don't talk again, and it's tough.
And I think that we've always been really good at that, like communicating our feelings. And I like that's something that I don't take for granted either, especially now because of how things are going. But even then, because I always appreciated like how vulnerable you would be with me. Like you would tell me like if that like crush was coming up again, and I like would respect that, but I'd also be like
nice about it.
Like I don't just don't want to go there, you know. But I
and even after you would tell me that stuff, like I would always respect it too, and it's not like I'd stop talking to you and be like weird about it, like, oh, like I just want to talk to her because I want to. No, like in the end of the day, we really were just friends.
And I think like that also shows like how much respect we have for each other too, in a way. Does that make sense?
Because like in the end of the day, like I knew that if she just wanted to be or you just wanted to be just friends, I was gonna be like okay with it, because in the end of the day, like I did like having you as a friend, and it wasn't just like I just want to be with her, like in a, you know.
And I don't know, I think it just showed like how much respect we had for each other, and also how important like
the friendship was to the both of us.
But I also want to say, with that being said, we also like whenever I would have a boyfriend or you would have a girlfriend, like we were very respectful of that, and like we wouldn't do anything. Like you wouldn't say anything out of line, I wouldn't say anything out of line. Like we wouldn't do anything out of line.
Like we really did respect that sense too, that we wouldn't like really intervene with that part of our lives like that. So we were never like weird, like in that sense.
Because like when you are in a relationship and you have a girl best friend or a guy best friend, like it can get weird. And I understand that, and I fully understand that.
Exactly.
Which is why like we wouldn't ever like cross a line. But
I agree. And so that's also what kind of kept things not weird between us, in the sense of like we wouldn't have I don't like, not really like moments where we're like, oh, like I don't want to talk to you or whatever, but you know, other than that, like, you know, we're always pretty, I feel like that the fact that we respected the friendship kind of like, you know, helped it live on for so long, rather than like some people, like, oh, sometimes the guy will like get upset at the girl because she doesn't want to date him, and it's like, oh, like, well, you don't want to date me, I'll do all this for you and this and that, and it's like, you know, they have a fallout, and it's because the guy doesn't respect the fact that the girl doesn't, or just wants to be friends or whatever. That's what I hear a lot of the time. And so thankfully we've always been good about like talking about it and stuff. So here we are.
I know. Okay, but like also we're not gonna get into it because I like really don't want to do that. But I think it is important, because I was saying like how before I would never think about like the possibility of me and you and like how that would work out, because I like really loved having you in my life and like having you as my friend, that I just like never wanted to go there. I think it's important to like just say that like because we just started like being in each other's lives again in what, December?
Something like that,
And it's about to be April. So how long is that? December, January, February, March, April, like 4 months. We've only been in each other's lives again for like 4 months. Before that, we weren't talking for like what, a year and a half?
Something like that.
because something happened, and we're not gonna get into that, but like
Yeah.
something happened, and we just weren't in each other's lives for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And like that time apart just like made me realize like, oh, it's okay. Like if he's not in my life, like yes, it sucks because I did miss you a lot during that time, especially like during specific moments during that time. But I was like, oh, like okay, yeah, this is a little hard. Like I do miss him, but I'm fine. Like it's fine. Like if he's not in my life. And I think that made me think like, okay, like if like, well, no, I wasn't thinking this during the time, but now like looking back on it, that did help me be like, okay, like if we were to ever try things and like I'd just try it, like I'd be okay with it now because say things don't work out, I'd
And
be
I'm
fine.
not there,
I'd be
you'll be
okay.
fine.
You
Yeah.
know? Like
So it
yes,
kinda
it would
put-
suck, but it would be okay.
Yeah.
You
Kind
know?
of put things into perspective for you.
Yeah.
Like that. It's really just gonna be okay.
Yeah, and then so I just want to say that before we
Yeah,
say anything because I think now
that
we're
had
like
a big impact on like how everything turned out.
yes.
So
Because I think now we can finally get into like, oh, how did you guys like
How did this
start
happen?
talking and how did you guys get to your first date, you know?
yeah.
So I think saying that we can like finally get into it a little
Yeah.
bit. But
That's kind of like the backstory of
Yeah.
how you know
yeah.
how it's been and
Yeah.
how we got to where we're
Yeah.
at. So moving on from that, like you know, give us some time to like reflect and stuff, and you know, we got into each other's lives again, and again it was like a friendly thing. Try to just be friends, try to keep it mellow.
Yes. But I will say the very first time that we hung out, like after like starting to be friends again, like the first time you picked me up from my house and I've told you this, but like the first time you got out of the car, I was like, I just thought to myself in my head, I was like, oh no. I was like, this is not happening. Because as soon as you got out of the car, I don't know, like, I think I was just seeing you differently.
Yeah.
And because I hadn't seen you in such a long time, like I kind of like sort of forgot what you looked like maybe. And you do look a little bit different than like the last time that I had seen you. And I was like, oh no, like I'm finding him attractive right now. Like what is happening? And so like, and I've told you that, like you know that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. I think it's funny that
It
like
is.
it's genuinely started for me in that moment when you had picked me up.
Yeah.
Like that's
kinda
genuinely
wild.
when it started.
Till this day, whenever you tell me that, I'm like, like that. And it's like, again, to put into perspective, everyone, like I didn't think that was actually possible. Like it got to a point where I was like, you know, giving up. I was
yeah,
like,
I gave you a run for your money for sure. I gave you a run for your money.
I did not think that was a possibility. So even hearing that, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so I do. Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy.
And it's like, I think you have such a good heart because I really was like trying to push you away like as much as I possibly could, but
I'm guilty.
didn't work.
Didn't work.
Honestly,
I
didn't
am
work,
a stubborn guy.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you have like
I did
any
have
feelings? I don't know if I've asked.
It's
you
more
this or
like
not,
it.
but-
I ish you have, but it's more like the first time we hung out. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little odd because not that we left in horrible terms, but we did leave
we
kind of.
did.
But we kind of did leave like kind of like in terms that weren't so good either. So it was just like
They were not good at all. I
they
don't know
weren't
what
good
you're
at-
talking.
no,
Like
they
I don't know
weren't
why
good at
you're
all.
trying to sugarcoat it. Like
Yeah,
we
no.
did not.
Yeah, it
end
wasn't
our
very
friendship
sweet.
on good terms.
And so okay, so we, you know, it was not the best of terms, but we found, you know, we talked about things the first time that we kind of got back into hanging out, and we came into like a middle point. We agreed on some stuff, disagreed on some stuff, and you know, we kind of talked about how everything went down, and I think that helped a lot rather than like leaving things just kind of like thinking everything was normal, which I was trying to do for a little bit, thinking everything was fine, and that was not a good idea.
That was not gonna go down well with me. So.
Yeah. So and it's good. I'm glad that we talked about things because that helped clear the air out and not make things so odd and awkward. But that was like the very first time I saw you. But like the first time we actually like hung out.
Yeah. The first time I saw you, I had no thoughts in my head.
Yeah, there was.
I was just
nothing.
like, what is this dude doing at my house? How did he get here? How did he like know where I live? Because
I
know that sounds really weird, but it's because in that like year and a half, 2 years, I had moved.
Yeah.
And I had not told him my address. But other friends knew my address, so like he could easily get it. It wasn't like that weird. I'm making it sound weirder than it was, but yeah.
It's okay. Anyway,
it's not as weird as I'm making it seem.
No, it's not. It was just I wanted to clear things up in person rather than like, you know, do things. I'm a very like face-to-face type of guy. Like I hate texting. Like I hate, you know, all that stuff. Especially if it's something serious. Like I rather see facial expressions and, you know, try to interpret stuff. So it made sense, but the approach wasn't the best. But I've learned.
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
I think I just like, I would have liked to know that you were coming
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Would have been nice. Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, that was like the first time, and the first time we actually like hung out. It was like a week after, like something like that.
This all snowballed like really quickly.
Yeah. I kind of like I did. Yeah. And so, this time it was like kind of interesting because it's like we were hanging out, like, and we were still like we knew a lot about each other, and we were like still like close, like in a way like that we knew a lot about each other, but not necessarily that. It's like we were starting the friendship again, kind of fresh.
That's exactly what it was like, because obviously like we've known each other for a really long time, and I feel very comfortable around you and all of those things. And so the first time we hung out, I was like, obviously I felt like I was hanging out with like my best friend, but I was also kind of like holding back a little bit. Like I was trying to not, I guess like I was trying not to give in so easily. Yeah, I guess,
because it was easy to give in. Like it would have been easy to give in.
Yeah, because I mean, you're my best friend, and like, I don't know, like, well, usually when you and I are together, we're always laughing, like we're always just joking around, and we're always like very, like, it's very stress free when you and I are together. And so I think it was a little nerve wracking and stressful the first time we hung out, because I was like, I want to set boundaries, but I also like just want to hang out with you. Like I just want to hang out and like be friends. But it was also kind of weird because I was like,
what's the right thing to do?
You just came back into my life, and I don't know how to like approach this. Yeah. I don't know.
No, and that totally makes sense, because it was easier for me because I wasn't on the receiving end. You know, I was kind of like the one that was more like, okay, let me try to rehash things, and like, you know. But for you, it was a little bit weirder because it was like, you know, you're kind of on the receiving end. So it's like, what do you want to do? You know, do you, like you said, you want to set boundaries, or do you want to just kind of like let things go and, you know, move on? Or so I agree that it must have been tough. But I think that also gave us an opportunity to kind of like, how would I say this? Like it gave us like a second shot at like first impression in like a different point in our lives, because you know, like it wasn't that crazy long, but it was also long enough to where, like, you know, I had my changes as a person, you had your changes as a person, so it was
yeah I think the both of us have changed, not super drastically, but like we've gone through some changes that like make us better people, and also like just people who like fit better into our personalities. If that makes sense.
100%. That makes sense.
I think we're definitely like growing into the people that like we're meant to be.
Yeah. And I feel like those few years, like 20, 21, 22, like around those years, you kind of change a lot because you kind of see the world from a different perspective, whether it's because like you're in college, you're working a job, you're looking for, like, instead of just looking for a relationship, like at least it's more of a like I'm looking for like a partner, rather than just like in the sense of like, like you wouldn't just date anybody, you know? Like you wouldn't just date like
I think you can. I think you like if you're at this age, you definitely still can.
yeah.
I think it just depends who you are.
Yeah, I guess at least that's what it was for me. Like it was more like I don't want to just like I don't want to say like or be rude or anything, but like I don't want to just like spend so much time with somebody that I just kind of don't see anything with like in the day.
Yeah, no. I understand that. I get that. No. Yeah, I get that. But I just like obviously not everybody.
No, yeah, not at all.
Thinks that way, and that's totally fine.
That is fine. That
because
is
we're very
fine.
young. Like,
Yes,
you
we
don't
are.
need to think about like if you're dating somebody, you don't need to think like, oh, are they the
All
one?
that long.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I guess I meant more like at least like not like that sense, but like more like like is this gonna go somewhere good, like type of thing, you know? Like not that far into the future.
No,
but
I know, but like
you know
you
what
don't
I'm
even
saying?
need to think about it even that way. The way that you're saying, like, is this gonna go somewhere? Like you could just date for fun.
Yeah, I guess you could. I guess
Fun.
I guess it just comes down to like the way people see stuff differently and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, like what was I going with that?
I have no idea. I feel like we've been going on tangents.
Yeah, we have.
But
so moving forward, pretty much, first few times hanging out and stuff, we hung out like 4 or 5 times ish.
I think so, yeah.
Something like
we
that.
were hanging out every week, I think.
Yeah, like at least once.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think. I want to say we were.
Something like that. And so
honestly, yeah, we were. yeah.
So yeah, we hung out a few times, and then eventually got, again, this was all kind of like rehashing, being friends again, and this and that, so nothing crazy. And so ever since, like, those few times hanging out, they were pretty like cool hangouts too. Like it wasn't just like whatever,
Well, we would like go to the movies, or we would go to LA, or
we kind of like
we would just, I don't know, we would just hang out. We would just like, we didn't even really have to be doing much though. Like we would just,
even if it was just walking around somewhere,
and like just talk. And but that's something that I like really like about like hanging out with you, is like we don't even really have to do much, but we will have a fun time.
Exactly.
Like just, I don't know, and that, like, that's like what I said earlier, we just like, it just feels so like
chill.
Yeah, just chill. And like it's so carefree. Like we're just laughing all the time.
Yeah. And like, we're talking about stuff, and it's like it just feels so like
we've had our deep talks too.
Yeah, and it just feels so like, like everything just kind of flows. So it's like we don't have to worry about anything else, and it's nice because that makes hanging out, like whether we do the simplest thing or like the coolest thing, it's just either way it's super chill.
Yeah. Because I feel like we never really have to have like a set plan of what we're doing ever.
We just kind of let things kind of go with the flow, and I'm a go with the flow type of guy, so that's perfect.
I am at certain times.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but sometimes.
And fair, I mean, me too. Like I'm not necessarily all the time, but like 90% of the time I am.
Yeah.
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 I am. So I do have my moments.
If you could just go through life without ever having a plan, you would.
All right. You're making me.
You would though.
Yeah, no, yeah. I have plans. And see, that's the thing. That's like that 10% where it's like I do have plans in life and stuff.
No, that's not what I'm saying though.
But when it comes to people and hanging out and stuff, I am very go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like
with, the more
chill stuff,
fun stuff.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
yeah.
Like,
so I agree with you. You're totally
yeah.
right. I don't really need a plan like a lot of the time, and things just kind of work out.
Yeah.
But then fast forwarding, we had this one time that we hung out, and that this is kind of what really kicked things off. We went to LA, we hung out all day. It was really cool, fun time, and we just kind of went off on a tangent, and we ended up having a conversation. And that conversation was it was interesting because we both, I think it was like the first time in a while, literally like since the last time we've ever had that conversation, that we like really poured like our hearts out like about like everything that we were feeling.
Yeah, because you were just, I mean, you could talk about what you were talking about and I'll talk about what I was saying.
Yeah,
but basically what I was saying, you don't have to go into specifics if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. I'm just kind of gonna summarize what I was saying, but I was just like saying like all the doubts and all the things that were like holding me back from ever seeing you in a romantic way, and just telling you like just that I had never seen you that way. I think that's all I was saying, right?
Yeah.
When we had that conversation, like that's all I was saying really, was that just like I've always seen you as like a really good friend, and like I've never wanted to jeopardize that friendship, and I just don't, like, I've never thought of you in that way, in the most like respectful way possible. Not in like, ugh, get away from me, I don't like you. No, not in that kind of way. Just like, I respect you so much. I have so much respect for you and our friendship, and like the role that you have in my life, that I just never wanted to go there. Right? That's like all I said.
And there
pretty
was
much.
and that was like more kind of like at the beginning, but then towards the end, like when I was saying everything that I was saying, then you kind of like a little bit gave in a little bit on like the thoughts and the ideas of like this, that.
Yeah, where I was like, yeah, but it like, and I have thought about it, like,
yeah,
what
it was
would
like more you explaining your constant like mental fight with yourself of like, you know. And so
I was basically just pouring out my inner monologue is what I was doing.
Monologue.
Because towards the end I was like, yeah, but I have thought about it, and like I'm thinking about it now, like I would like, people are gonna be so confused what I'm even talking about. But like I just, I was thinking about like what it would be like to be in a relationship with you, or like what it would be like to, this sounds so weird, or like what it would be like to like to like kiss you, and like that sounds so weird saying out loud. It's like, but yeah,
I think we're not the only people that have ever thought about that. Well,
no,
let's be honest.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's when I think that time apart helped you. Like you would tell me, like it kind of like realized, like also aside from being like a little more risk free, more like kind of let you free your mind up a little bit of like really giving yourself time to think about all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of cracked you that night of like, oh, like what, you know, what would this feel like, or what would that feel like? What would it be like to, you know, go on a date or go do this? Or...
Yeah, and also I think it helped a lot, considering that I haven't been in a relationship for like 3 years. And so I think I was also at a point in my life where I was just like, well, what harm will it do if like we just try, you know?
Yes. And so fast forward after that night that we kind of talked about it, and we agreed, and it's like I officially asked you like, hey, like, you know, what if we go on a date, like a real date? Like,
we didn't,
like that's all we said. We didn't set a time or anything, but we were like, what if we try, like, you know, I ask you, and you know, I give you a time, and I pick you up, we go eat at a nice place and do whatever, you know, we want to do. And so we left it at that and kind of let it hang out for a little bit.
Well, we didn't leave it at that, because I initially said no.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I initially said no to the date.
You did.
But it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to go on a date. It was just like, everything was happening so fast. Everything was happening so fast. Because like that night we had literally just had our first kiss, and then like all of a sudden like, oh, let's go on a date, and I was just like, oh, that's fast. You know, like that's really fast. And also, like, I don't know if this is okay for me to say. If you want me to take it out, I will take it out. But like, you had just broken up with,
out of a relationship that was in
not that long before that. So
yeah, I mean, it's not nothing with that. Like it happens.
Yeah, I know, but that's like your personal thing.
Yeah.
That has
and
something
so
to do
yeah,
with
and
me,
that totally makes sense. You know, I was, and that makes sense. And I did, you know, have my time to like do whatever thing I had to do and everything. So, you know, I did make sure I wasn't like being dumb and like just, you know, pulling the trigger. But
yeah, but I also was just like, I want you to have a little bit more time to think about it. I want to think about it. It just didn't.
It made sense too.
It didn't seem like the right time necessarily to go on a first date. So I said no at first. And then I think after like what, a month?
A month, yeah.
I finally said yes.
Yes.
Because you had asked me again. I can't remember why you had asked me again.
It was just kind of like, because the first time you said no, like you explained to me why you had said no, that it was more like of a timing thing. So you said, oh, like maybe ask me again like, you literally said, like, ask me again, like, in a month, and then we'll see how I'm feeling. You literally said
Yeah,
that, and I
did
was
say
like, oh,
that.
bet.
Yeah.
And I was okay with it. Like, it totally made sense. It gave me more time to do my thing and,
Yeah.
figure my stuff out. And, a month rolled by, and then I did ask you, and you said yes. And then that's when that's where the story starts again.
Yeah.
So, month went by. It was, I can't remember exactly when was the day that do you remember the day that I asked you like,
wait. What do you mean?
like the day that I
Which
asked you
day?
again, like, oh, if you wanted to go on a date?
I am gonna be so honest. I don't pay
No, me
attention to
neither.
days like that.
Yeah.
Like dates, I don't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Which maybe is not a
No,
good
it's
thing.
not.
I
It's
know
not
that people usually do, but I
Yeah.
just
Me neither.
my brain is not wired that way.
Yeah, me neither. I'm like a note taker, hence why I take notes all the time and stuff. But yeah, no, I can't remember either. But we did end up going on our first date on March 20th.
20th?
The 20th was the day of our first date.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. Because, yes. Yeah. yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm looking at notes on my phone. Like, I don't have the craziest best memory in the hotel.
No, that's okay. I know.
But March 20th was the day that we went on our first date, and so it was. So from beginning, tell me your side of things. So you woke up. How was your?
Okay, I woke up. I had work that day.
You did.
This was a Wednesday, right?
Yes, it was. Yes,
yeah.
It was a Wednesday.
Okay, so I woke up. I went to work. Honestly, it had not set in that I was going on a date until probably like 10 minutes before you got here to pick me up. It had not settled in that I was like, ooh, like get the nerves that you get before a first date.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think I had them even when you picked me up.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't think I had them even when you picked me up. But then on our way there, I think probably like 5 minutes.
5 minutes
until we got 5 minutes until we got to the restaurant.
It kicked in.
Is when I started feeling a little like, I'm on a date. Like this is but it's just because I'm like, you're my best friend.
Yeah.
And like we hang out all the time, and it was just so normal for me to see you that I just like didn't think about it. But then we got to the restaurant and I was like, oh, this is like actually a date. Like we are at a restaurant and like this is a date. And like especially because we sat down and you're sitting at a table like across from me, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
That's when it kicked in for you?
I think that's when it had kicked in for me, because even like when I got home, I got dressed, I got ready, and I don't know, I just like, I wasn't freaking out or anything.
Yeah.
I didn't have those like first date jitters all throughout that time that I was waiting for you. And even when you got here, I don't know, I was just like, I was so happy to see you. Obviously, like I was happy to see you, and I was like, and you got me flowers. You got me such pretty flowers. That's the biggest bouquet of flowers you've gotten me. And I was like, whoa, these flowers are huge. But they were so pretty. And like, so I was so happy to see you, and I was so like happy that you got me flowers and all of that. But yeah, it hadn't set in until we got to the restaurant.
Yeah. So for me at the beginning, I woke up, I went to, actually no, you know what? No, I skipped out of school. I had school that day and I skipped out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I skipped, but not even because of that necessarily, but because I generally missed my alarm. And at that point I was like, it doesn't matter.
Did I know that? I don't think I
no, you didn't know
that
this.
You didn't go to class.
I literally didn't text you until like after, when I was like gonna head out to your house. But yeah, I woke up late that day. Sorry, teacher. And I just wanted to sleep in.
Sorry, professor.
Sorry, professor. And so I woke up early because I had a lot of prep to do. I had a lot to prepare a lot of stuff.
You did have a lot to prepare.
And so I started packing stuff, putting stuff in bags, and, having my mom and my sister question me a lot and, asking me all these questions. And I'm just like, don't worry about it. I am off I'm off, guys. And so I put everything in the truck and I drove. And for me, it's a little different because it seemed like unreal. Like it didn't kick in right away. And then I was like, when I was driving to your house, the whole drive, I was like, oh boy. Oh, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I'm not even like, I have jitters because just jitters. But then that wasn't even the worst part. It was the fact that I had totally told you a time. And, that day just traffic was not working
Yeah.
with me. And I tend to be pretty hard on myself about time because just, past occasions that I have been in and time has been very important and,
Yeah.
it's gotten the best of me. But I had it out early, but traffic got the best of me, and you were really awesome and understanding about it, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah. And
That's awesome.
I do have an issue with time. Like, I hate being late to things. I hate just not leaving somewhere on time and getting somewhere on time. But I don't get upset when it's things like that. Like, as far as I knew, there was no set time.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had no idea that you had made a reservation before I had called you.
Yeah.
I had no idea that we were supposed to be somewhere at a set time.
Mm.
And so to me, it wasn't a big deal that you were running late. I was like, whatever. Like, as long as you get here safe and as long as you're good, I don't mind that you're late. You know? So, yeah. I don't know. Just with things like that, I just don't really care as much. But obviously, if there's a set time that we got to be somewhere,
100%.
We got to be there at that time because if not, I'm going to stress out.
Yeah.
So
that did help me a lot in like ease up on myself. Like, oh, okay, like it's fine. Like it's, we'll get there and we're still gonna have a good time and that,
I did feel bad because like I told you, like when you texted me that you were stuck in traffic, I needed to call you because I was like, I know you're stressing out.
Which that helped, yeah, because I was pulling my hairs. I was like, too, like there, and it's not even something I can control. Like it was literally just unlucky that from an hour, like there was literally like 2 accidents, like from the minute that I left my house, and traffic just stacked up like crazy.
Yeah, and I knew you were stressing out, which is why I wanted to call you. I was like, I don't want him to stress out. Like, there's nothing to stress out about, you know?
And knowing me, I would have killed my own vibe. So you calling was like a big help of like, okay, you know what, like it's cool. Like,
yeah, especially because this was a big thing for us.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be like a good thing all the way through. And I just didn't want you to feel bad.
Yeah, and that did help. So that was good. Thank you. And so I was driving, I made it safe, and I got here, and I got off the car, and her dad just gives me like the just most ginormous smile in the world, just like kind of like he kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah, well, my parents knew that we were going on
a
date.
Yeah, so it was nice. So he was like, and then the kids were all, jumping in the truck and screaming out loud like, oh, you guys are going on a date.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody wanted to join in.
It was more of a 2-person thing, but it looked like it was gonna turn into a whole group activity. But yeah, and then that's kind of where I'm at. Like I get off the truck and I'm shaking my knees, holding flowers in my hand, and I'm like, oh boy, I was trying to keep myself composed. And then I see you walk out, and I just think in my head, oh my. At this point, I'm like drooling. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, but I was like, I remember, because like it ain't, like that's when it really kicked in. I was like, oh, I'm picking her up like on our first date. Like that's when it like, oh my God. Like at first I was stressed, but then once I was there, I was like, holy, like, and then you just came out in a dress and you were looking really pretty, and I was like, dude, what is going on right now? And so to you, I guess, though, it hadn't kicked in. So it was just, I was just in that boat by myself for a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
No, not at all. I was always going to be nervous for that. So,
yeah.
And it's not a bad thing.
I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I wasn't nervous right away, though. I feel like you felt like you would have ruined your vibe if you had gotten stressed out about traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would have ruined my own vibe if I had been like super nervous.
Yeah, so I got there. Vibes were good.
Mm-hmm.
I said hi to you, and then I gave you a hug, and then I gave you the flowers, and from there on, we went over to, drove to, what was it? What was that? Old Town Temecula. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I had found the restaurant, which, by the way, I don't live anywhere near here.
Yeah. He
So
has
it was
to
like
drive like an hour and a half.
it wasn't even that I was like complaining about. It was more like it was hard to find. Like, cause I don't know the area, so I didn't know like, oh, I know a spot like that's good or whatever. So I had to like the amount of research I did.
But genuinely, we could have gone anywhere. We could have gone to Denny's, IHOP, like I don't know.
And it was more of
anywhere.
like, and I knew that exactly. I was like, dude, we could literally go to In-N-Out and sit in the back of the truck and eat the burgers, and it's fine.
We literally could have just gotten In-N-Out, and I would have been so happy.
Yeah, but I guess it was more of a me thing that I was like, oh, like I wanted to be like a little more.
You wanted to make it
special.
Yeah.
So I found this place in Old Town Temecula that had pretty good reviews, and I was like, oh, like, make the reservation there.
And I just want to say, I have seen this place before because I go to Temecula every so often. Yeah. And I've seen this restaurant before, and I've always thought, oh, this restaurant looks so cute. So I've always seen it, and I've thought that it's super cute, but I just never thought I'd actually go there.
Funny coincidence.
And you didn't know this.
No, I didn't. So. Yeah, so it was just funny the way that worked.
Yeah.
And
it's funny the way anything
really has worked.
With us.
Yeah. But so we sit down, we get there, and everybody's really nice to us. We sit outside. It's kind of cold at this point. Mm-hmm. Turn the heaters on, and we get our food, which was, by the way, I don't know about you, I really liked it.
I did really like it.
Yeah.
I think it could have been a little more hot.
Well, yeah,
but also, again, I love my food piping hot.
Yes, you do.
I want it to burn my mouth.
That's crazy.
And you don't like it like that. No, you like your food more like lukewarm. Yeah. And I just that's not my cup of tea. So
yeah,
I think it could have been a little more hot, but. Also, we were sitting outside.
We were. That had a big impact on it.
But I did really like the food. I think the food was really, really good.
It was good. That ube yogurt thing.
Our dessert was so good.
Yeah, it was. I'm not an ube guy necessarily, but that was good.
What was it?
It was ube.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, ube panna cotta. Yeah.
And I don't even know what panna cotta is.
Me neither.
But it was so good.
Panna cotta was like pancake and like a different.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is. And this is just a random thought because I went out to breakfast with my friend Bianca, and
hi, Bianca.
There was hey Bianca, and there was a thing on the menu, and it said since you mentioned pancakes.
Oh.
I'm like going completely off topic, but there was a thing on the menu. It said cornmeal pancakes. Cornmeal pancakes, and I looked at it. It's just pancakes with like a corn base, I think. I really want to try them because I like corn. I really like corn.
Interesting.
I want to try them. But anyways, sorry.
No.
I don't even know. I still don't know what panna cotta is.
Me neither.
But it was so good. It was panna cotta.
It was really good.
If somebody could tell us what panna cotta is. I know we could look it up, but I probably won't look it up.
No, we won't.
So it was like the ube panna cotta base, whatever, and then there was
the
like
matcha
honeycomb. Yes, there was matcha chocolate, so freaking good.
It was gas.
And then there was like honeycomb pieces.
And there was like was there like raspberries in there?
There was blackberries on there. Yeah. But that was just really good. But all of the food was so good.
Food was
and
really
the
good.
blood orange lemonade was also really, really good. Actually, I really liked it. But yeah, dinner was really good.
Yeah, it was, and it was honestly a lovely experience too. Shout out to the servers and the whole team. Yeah, the servers
were really, really nice.
They're all being really kind.
The hostess, everybody was really nice.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely has a big impact on like make sure that the vibe stays good. Because sometimes you get that bad service and it's like like you dread it a little.
Yeah, but everybody was super nice.
Yeah, they were.
The food was good.
The food was good.
The company was all right.
It was all right. It was me and the couple of bees that were hanging out across from me. There was bees. By the way, I don't want to tell you, but
were there bees around
there were bees like next to you because there was like lavender plants. I just didn't want to freak you out,
didn't know
and
that.
I was stressing because I was like, oh my god, what if they just like go to the panna cotta right now and like totally try to eat it? But
panna cotta. You weren't even worried about them stinging me. You were just worried about the panna cotta. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that.
They're like wearing, no, it's because that's the thing. They weren't near you until they brought out the panna cotta. That I thought like, oh, what if they get attracted to the sweet and they like try to like sting you? So I'd never mentioned that because I don't want to scare you, but it was
thanks
just
for that.
the two bees that were behind you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you not telling me anything.
But and then after dinner,
That was so random. I was
that
like,
was-
bees? Like, what
You
are you
didn't
talking about? You didn't ever say
didn't
anything
know
to
anything
me
about
about bees.
That's my fault. they were like you like jazz.
Okay, that's enough.
That's enough.
That's
Okay.
enough.
Okay.
Moving on.
Anyway, dinner was great. People were
Yeah.
great. Company was alright. I'm kidding. It was great.
Company
it was lovely.
was definitely more than all right.
Yeah,
We
company
were
was
we were
lovely.
laughing a little too loud.
Yeah, and then there was the people next to us
Yeah.
were joining into the conversations.
They were
and
cool though. They seemed like cool people.
yeah. And then after that, I had this whole idea planned in my head.
This was my favorite part of the date.
Oh, but okay. So I might be doing a bit of talking, but it's because
No,
most of it was
talk all you
my
want.
most of it was my point of view. Kind of, you were just kind of there for the ride, like enjoying it and hanging out.
Yeah. Well, because you did, yeah.
Like,
you
I
planned
did the
entire
planning.
thing. Yes.
And so
This next part is my favorite part.
Okay, so from kind of the top, like I had in mind what I wanted to do. Again, I don't know the area very much, so I was like, okay, where am I gonna execute this next part? But then I was like, oh, one of my favorite canyons is nearby. And I was like, dude, we're just told that's gonna be perfect. And so we drove up the canyon. It was a really lovely drive. It was like, it was dark. By this point, it was like completely dark, so the night sky was like really doing its thing.
Yeah,
and so
doing its thing.
yeah. So we drive up the canyon and we get to the viewpoint that I love and I adore, and it's so sick. And so I parked the truck in reverse and I look over to you and I'm like,
very pretty.
It was. And I told you, give me 10 minutes. It was not 10 minutes. But
No, honestly, I don't know how long you took, to be honest.
Me neither.
I have no idea.
Um,
I wasn't like timing you or anything.
Good.
I was just sitting in there. I was like, I just get to sit here.
And so I look over to her and I'm like, give me 10 minutes. I'll be right back. And so I
You gave me very specific directions. I could not look at anything that you were doing.
I was like, don't turn around. You're lucky I don't have a blindfold on you right now, but I'm going to trust you.
Yeah.
So I was like, don't turn around, play music, play loud, ignore me. Do not look back, whatever you do. And so...
And I didn't look back once.
And I'm glad, because that would have killed the surprise.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
And so I walk to the back of the truck and I start taking a bunch of stuff out. And at this point, you look confused.
Honestly, I wasn't thinking a single thing. You told me to just wait in the car and listen to music. I was just playing music.
Yeah.
I was just,
I was
having fun in there. Yeah.
I agree. And so I started taking a bunch of stuff out of the truck, took out like some like of those like just mattress that you just throw on the floor, I guess.
Yeah. I will say though, sorry to cut you off.
No,
I will say, I did have like a general idea of what you were probably doing. Because, I mean, like...
It was kind of obvious.
A little bit. But I could not have imagined like what exactly you did.
Yeah. And that's where I was at. I had a general idea what I wanted. And I was like, oh, God, I don't know if this is going to come out as good as I think in my head. That's what had me like a little bit nervous. I was like, dang, what if like I have this really cool image in my head, but what if it doesn't come out that cool?
Yeah.
And so I started taking stuff out. And then I start kind of, I got like all your favorite snacks. And I made you some strawberries. And then
with your matcha strawberries, just any like chocolate covered strawberries you make are so good.
Yeah, I'm glad you like them. They're a bit of crack. I'm not gonna lie. They're good.
Yeah, they are. They're really good.
But so I started taking stuff out. I put it in the trunk, and so the night prior, I downloaded a movie that she's been wanting me to watch. It's called The Chef. That's what it's called, right? Chef, yeah. And I make
sure. If you guys haven't seen that movie, you should watch it. It's really good. You should watch it. Really very good. If you're into like cooking and baking sort of stuff, that's the movie for you.
And the actors are stacked, so it's a really good cast.
So many big names in that movie. Yeah,
love that movie. Honestly, it was a great movie. Great choice. Movie. And so I downloaded it ahead of time with subtitles because I know you like the subtitles.
I know. When I saw that you put the subtitles on there, I was like, oh my God. Because there's little things like that you do that's just like, they're small things and most people probably would like just not think twice about it or just like overlook it, but like it's just little things like that that's just so sweet. you know?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad. I try to pay attention to it because I mean, for me, I'm like I'm very like detail oriented. So
And
it's
I
like,
appreciate that so much because usually people that I talk to are not super detail oriented like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like
really
to think
nice.
I like to think those small simple things sometimes can like, go a long way.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Like I told you that one time you gave me half of the napkin.
Pretty funny.
You handed me half the napkin. I literally wanted to cry. I was like, this is so sweet. He's giving me a napkin. The bar is so low.
That's
No, I'm just kidding. The bar is not
wild.
low. Actually, I have very high standards, but
you do.
I
You
do. But
for moments like
it's just
those,
like
you're
little
a sucker.
things like that. Yeah,
It's what
they
it
mean a
is.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so so I started taking all your snacks out that I know you like, and I put together. Well, I was gonna put together a charcuterie board, but we had just eaten a fat meal, so I was like, "There's no way we're gonna finish it." So I just kind of kept everything packed. I took out a bunch of fruit. I had like some popcorn ready and stuff, and then threw some blankets on. Had a little table down. Put some like lights on. Got
the candles and the lights.
the
are
candles.
so
Yeah,
cute.
lit up some candles, and then I had a bottle of wine out, which I think it is like the wine that you've liked so much, like by
it's
far.
my favorite wine. I have not. This is probably like the only one. The only wine I've ever had, but it's my favorite.
But you like it, and that's
yeah,
right.
I do really like it.
And so I hunted down. Shout out to Mikey and
Mikey and Carla.
It's okay, Carla, you too. But I might have texted Carla. She didn't answer, so I had to.
Why are you putting Carla on blast?
My fault, Carla. But love you guys, by the way. But I did text Mikey, and he was quick with it. He was already like on it. He sent me pictures and stuff, and I was like, dude, you're a legend. I am here at Trader Joe's, standing like looking around like I'm a lost like little cat. Like I don't know where anything is. And so Mikey sent me a picture, and I was able to find it because I did not remember.
If I had gone to Trader Joe's trying to look for that wine, I probably would not be able to find it.
I was going crazy because I was like, oh boy, like I have to go soon, and there's no reply yet, and I'm going crazy. And then, but I did find it, thankfully, and it was great, and it was all good.
I wish I could tell people what wine it is. I have no idea. I like it so much, and I don't even know the name of it.
I don't know the name of it either.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But so I had your wine and stuff, and then I told you to grab your flowers, and then I went over to your door and told you to bring them with, and walked you around the truck, and there it was. The surprise.
That was actually I've never had somebody do something like that for me, especially to that extent. Like, you prepared so much. Like, you got the mattresses, you got pillows, you got blankets, you got so much food, like you got so many snacks that I would like. You cut up so much fruit, like I like it. Everything was just so nice, and I was like, wow. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I cried a little bit.
She might have cried a little bit, guys.
Because I was like, oh my god, I've just never had somebody do something so nice for me before, and something that just took so much time and effort. And I acknowledged how much time and effort that took. And I was like, oh, this is so
And I appreciated that a lot, by the way.
Yeah, because I think that's just... I'm going to sound so corny and cheesy right now. But just imagine the way that you would want, like, somebody to treat you and, like, somebody to pay attention to you. That's exactly what you do. Like, you do everything that, like, somebody would want somebody to do for them. And so it's just, I don't know, it was really nice. And I think that, like, it just all hit me, like, in that moment. And so I did cry a little bit.
Yeah, she did.
It was,
like, it was after the glass of wine. No, it wasn't.
It was way before.
It was before.
It was way before. As soon as I sat down, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was just really nice.
And so the fact that you appreciate it that much, though, makes it feel like, because it's like, it's one of those things where I enjoy the process of it. Like, the whole time I was like enjoying it, like planning it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
And like, I enjoyed it every single step of the way, which made it really enjoyable for me. But what really was a cherry on top was the fact that you really enjoyed it. And I was like, this is something we can both enjoy. And it's not just for her. It's like for me and her. And it was like, which
it is for me and you.
Yeah. And it's just like, like, I enjoy the process. I enjoy being here, and I'm glad I did it, and you enjoyed it, and it made me feel really good. And I was like, oh, like it makes me want to do more stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, no matter what you do, I just want to make you feel appreciated and like seen, and like I see the effort that
show
it
the
takes,
appreciation too, yeah. And I am thankful for that, because not a lot of people are like that, and I have seen it like in other people and stuff, and it's like it's tough like when sometimes like, you know, somebody does something for someone else and it's like not appreciate it, and like even if it's something small, like when you like, you know, miss it and then you take it for granted, it's like dang.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it too goes back to like what I said earlier. Like I just have so much respect for you that I don't know. I don't want to make you
undersell stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to make you feel like what you do is not important. You know?
Yeah. I get it. And so we sat there in the back, we munched out a little bit. That charcuterie board was mean. I personally was munching
you
on
were
it.
really loving it.
Yeah, the whole night I was like, man.
Honestly, I would have eaten more.
But we had just eaten.
I was full.
Yeah.
I was full.
For those of you that know me, I might look a little skinny.
You're a skinny boy, but you can eat.
I can eat.
Yeah.
I can eat.
You can eat.
You put something I like in front of me, it's game over. I am munching. So I told her, I was like, hey, excuse me, if, you know, you don't mind, I'm going to go right into the charcuterie board.
Oh, I didn't care.
And so, yeah, I was.
Do your thing.
Yeah, I was putting together little cracker bites and little apricots and cheese and almonds and, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Just breathing, heavy breathing into the mic.
My fault.
You're just thinking about.
Yeah, it was really good.
Board.
Yeah, and the treats were all really good, honestly. I'd like to think, and so, you know, wine was good. The fruit was great.
Oh, and like just the cherry on top for the entire thing. We saw a shooting star, that was just so crazy to me because my mom sees shooting stars not super often, but she sees them.
More often than not.
More often. Well, yeah. She's seen them more than I'm sure a lot of people have seen them. I had never seen one before. And I just always thought for so long, oh my God, I hope I get to see a shooting star. And so it was just so funny that I finally saw one. Like on the night of our first date, and like that I was seeing it with you. You
that
know,
was
like
crazy,
because we both saw it at the same time.
Yeah, and same thing. I've never seen a shooting star before, so it's kind of crazy because we almost missed it.
I know.
Almost.
Well, because we were watching the movie. And I had like just seen it in the corner of my eye, and so we both just like had just enough time to see it before it like
completely
went
disappeared.
Away.
Yeah, I totally thought, I was like, no way she did, because I'm pretty quick with it. So as soon as I saw it start to like, you know, like
you
start
saw
to
it that
move,
fast?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't even.
The second I saw it like appear in my head, I was like, and I was too shocked to even, because I've never seen a shooting star before.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw it, I didn't even tell you. I literally froze.
Oh.
And I was just like,
I didn't know you had seen it right away.
Yeah, I saw it
definitely didn't.
right away. And so then after it disappeared, I was like, wait, she might have totally missed it. And then I turned around and you were also like, wait, did you see that? And I was like, wait, no, she did see it.
Yeah, I did see it. I'm so glad I saw it because, oh my God, I've just always wanted to see one. Yeah. I think shooting stars are so cool.
Yeah, they're sick. They're so cool. Sick. And so that was like the cherry on top. That was, aside from the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was not a cherry on top. That was pretty funny.
That was just funny though.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, that shooting star.
I hope that guy gets back together with this.
I hope so too.
If they're good for each other, obviously. If they're not, then don't get back together.
Yeah, no.
Don't ever get back together with an ex unless you know they're
it's the
really
one,
good
the
for you.
But yes. So we saw that shooting star, and that was pretty sick. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And so that really was a cherry on top. Then we almost finished the movie. We had like 10 more minutes left, but it was
but I had work the next morning, and I was getting a little tired.
Yeah, I think we both were.
Yeah.
By that point. And so, yes, after that, you know, cleanup crew came in. Me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
And
I would have helped. I would have helped.
And I didn't let her.
You just really didn't want to.
I told her to get in the car because it was cold. And
it was genuinely freezing.
It was freezing.
It was really
cold. I
cold.
cramped up while I was outside. I am not gonna lie. I stood up and I felt a cramp coming in.
Oh, well, I got 2 cramps while I was trying to get off
You
the
did.
truck. So
You did get 2 cramps.
I
You
did.
were crippled for a second.
Yes, I
Tough.
was.
And so, we cleaned everything up and it was good. It was great. And the drive down was lovely again. Had a, you could see the whole city from there. So it was awesome.
It was really nice.
And so, yeah, it turned out a lot better than it, thought it would have. And it did. And it was great. And
best date I have ever been on in my entire life.
Yeah, I think on my side of things, best date I've ever planned on my side of things, honestly, because the view, the food, the person, like everything was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so sick.
It was really fun.
And so I think,
and I just I would have been so happy with anything, but just it was
and
really
I know
nice
that too.
the way that it worked out.
Yeah, and I think that's nice.
I think you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you think so. Because in my head, it's like you're saying, like, I knew that you were gonna be okay with anything super chill, but in my head, I also thought like, yeah, but I can't go super chill. So how about I do something chill, but kind of at an elevated
because
level?
You are not chill. We've established you're not chill.
I try my best to be.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I can't. I'm too. I have too much energy.
I'm just joking. You do have a lot of energy, but that's why like hanging out with you is just so much fun.
it's I have my moments.
Genuinely, there's never a single boring moment when we're hanging out.
And it's great. It's lovely. And so, yeah, so then after that, I literally just came home, dropped you off, and, I was on my way, and I was, like, tweaking. I was like, no way, like, that just happened. Like, at this point, it's out. Yeah, we've had our first kids, whatever. Yeah. So we did say, like, oh, like, we're not gonna, like, at all. Like, no smooching, nothing,
no kissing,
nothing at all. And they got the best of us because I think sometimes the guy gets lucky in the first date, sometimes, and I was okay with being the lucky guy. But that was a good way to end off the night, and the night just went off my way, and
I was just like, there's no way that like I'm not gonna kiss you, like it was just everything was so sweet.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was, like I said, I enjoyed it, and I thought it was pretty cool. So
it was very cool. And we have yet to go on a second date.
Yes.
But honestly, we hang out all the time. We see each other.
Sometimes, like, the hangouts
maybe
feel
a little
like
too often.
But I think, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think I am deserving of a second date? Do I get a second?
No, I don't think you do. The first one just sucked so bad
that it traumatized you enough.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
it was just so good that I don't think you could top it. I don't think you should even try for a second date. No, obviously I would be up for a second date, but the thing is, how do we even establish what is a date and what isn't? Because we hang out all the time.
It'd have to be like it's because those are always hangouts, but I think it'd have to be more like my side of things. Be like, hey, like, let's go on a date this day.
But I don't want you to plan things all the time either.
No. Yeah, but for example, it doesn't have to be like necessarily anything planned.
Well, because I do tell you that, like, oh, let's hang out. Like, I want to see you. You know.
You do.
But I guess dates are just more planned out. Because we do hang out a lot, but we don't necessarily have a plan.
Yes. And it's more like you have to establish it rather than like, because it can even be the simplest thing, but as long as you establish, like, ahead of time, like, hey, I have a little plan today, let's go on a date. Or, whether we plan something together and we establish, like, oh, it's a date.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just me planning or you planning.
Yeah, but then it's also like, when do we stop?
When do you stop?
Saying, like, I guess you don't, huh?
No, you don't. I think,
honestly, I don't know.
I
don't know how these things work.
I can be 30 with my future wife, whoever that is, and be like, still asking to go on a date. I think that's something that should always be a thing.
That's like, I'm not used to that.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how that works.
And that's just something, like, again, it doesn't have to be something that happens, like, very, very often. Like, it happens whenever you need it to happen, but I think it's important to, like, establish it occasionally.
Yeah, but I think, I guess more what I'm asking is, like, when, like, does it have to be a date or not a date, or does it all just kind of blend?
Oh,
Because like I'm saying, like we hang out so often. We hang out all the time.
And those
So
are
what
more
is
like,
a date and what isn't?
So at least for me personally,
Me personally.
For me personally.
Sorry guys, that's like his
personally.
favorite word to use, and I just think it's so funny.
I've been holding off on not using it, but it just came out.
Personally.
And I think personally, that what makes a date is more like, yeah, we hang out all the time, but it's like you said, like it's not established, like, because every time we hang out, we don't say, oh, it's a date, you know.
Yeah.
I think, you know, like
this
I was
is a date
telling
right
you.
now. What are you talking about?
Oh, my fault.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, my fault.
Just kidding.
But no, yeah, what I was saying is like that for it to be a date, it at least has to be like kind of put in the air, like, oh hey, like, you know, again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be something simple, but just as long as you establish like, oh, it's a date, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, here we are after our first date, and
Well, sorry. Sorry, I'm like checking how long we have on the recording, and
you're good.
Sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
But yeah, so that's kind of how our first date went. And do you have any afterthoughts? I mean, I feel like we both kind of agreed that it was honestly one of the probably the best dates that we both have been in.
Yeah, it was.
So
I don't have any afterthoughts.
No, it was great. It was honestly such a fun time.
Yeah.
And I think with the right person that, like we were saying, like that you really like get along with and stuff, things are just gonna flow easy. You know, whether, you know, you have a little bump in the road, whether like, for example, me on the traffic, or, you know, you don't really have anything going on your side, but what could have been a bump on the road for you, like, you know, tripping about like, oh, he's late, this and that.
Yeah. I think you just have to, I mean, I know not everybody is like this, but I think you just gotta learn to just mellow out a little bit.
Yeah.
Not take everything too seriously. Just let things happen.
And it's not trying to belittle, like, if something is important to you at all, but it's also like you just gotta know what's important enough and what's kind of not necessarily as like end of the world situation.
Yeah, because like I could have gotten upset with
you could have
about you getting stuck in traffic. I could have been like, oh well, why didn't you leave the house earlier or something?
You could have made my life a living hell.
I could have. I mean, well, for one, I'm just not like that, but also, like, there's
no point.
I was like, at least you're safe, you know?
Yeah.
And like, as long as you get here safe, like,
yeah,
it's
and the
fine.
date was still gonna go on.
Yeah, and I didn't want you to rush. I didn't want you to feel like a weight on your shoulders, like, oh my god, I'm running late, she's gonna be so mad at me, you know. I just didn't want you, I don't want you to ever feel like that. Like, I don't ever want to cause you stress like that. And
that helps me a lot. Believe it or not, it's something that should be common sense, but you know, not, you know,
not common sense, because some people are just not.
Well, they have, I guess people have different needs, you know, like people like stuff differently, and that's, so maybe you're right, maybe it's not common sense.
Yeah,
it's my common sense, but it doesn't have to be everybody else's.
No.
And
which, by the way, I don't think that I think common sense is objective. I don't think that common sense is the same for everybody.
No, it has.
I would just like to say that.
Yeah, it has very different definitions.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely don't think that that's a common sense thing. I think that's just preference.
It is preference.
I don't know.
And like I was saying, with the right person, it's like something that's like, okay, like at least, like, it's gonna be fine. We're still gonna go on this date, and we're still gonna have a good time, and it's great. And I could have, for example, made it a living hell to myself and just, you know, been like super bummed out that I was late, but in the end of the day I was like, man, like, it's not worth it. Like, she seems like she's happy to be here, and you were.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, why am I gonna stress about that? Like, there's no point. Like, let's just have a good time, and it is what it is. And I shrugged it off, and we went on, and it was great. The vibes were good. Music was good, food was good, day was good. Shooting star was awesome.
Yeah, so we are not helping the stereotype that
it is.
Guys and girls can't be friends, but
you guys can be friends.
Hey, we were friends for a really, 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 really long time, and we're just friends for a really long time.
Yes, we were.
Just in the past few months.
And I was and it was always awesome being
Mm-hmm.
just friends, because I feel like that builds something really cool, like
Yeah, it
between
does.
us, and it's great. So yeah, people can be friends.
Yes, they
Guys and
can.
girls can be friends, by the
They
way.
can. We just
There's a lot of moving parts in this situation, though. A lot.
There is. And I think that it just, I don't know. I don't even know. I actually don't know where I was going with what I was just about to say. But everything just like works out and happens for a reason, and this was just meant to happen right now, and that's what's happening right now. But
exactly, and we're just
doesn't mean that it has to.
Yeah. We're just kind of living in the moment.
I think we just both decided, like, okay,
if there's gonna be a time,
this is gonna be now.
Yeah. So and it's been good. It's been super dope.
Very well.
It's going well, and it's been a fun time, and
it's been very weird.
Yeah,
like,
it has.
It's been not weird in a bad way, though. Like, we've talked about this. It's not weird in a bad way. Just it's super different, and it's just kind of crazy to us.
Yes,
like,
it is.
Whoa, this is happening, but it's in a very, very good way.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like
it's fun.
I feel like just like the way I look at you sometimes, like I kind of read it off in your eyes too, where it's like you also can't believe like who it is that you're standing in front of doing all that stuff with, and it's like sometimes I look at you and I'm like, oh god, like what how, like pinch me, like what is going on right now?
I know,
like
it is a little. It's just so crazy.
It's just so interesting. Like it's funny, it's so weird, interesting. It's like all those words. It's just like all into one feeling of like, but in a very cool way again.
Because I just never thought this would happen.
Me.
Both of us never thought that this would happen for different reasons, but it just.
Yeah. And so I mean it's it's been awesome. Like I said, I think like I was saying, like with the right person, like things just kind of flow.
Yeah.
And it's been flowing, and it's been awesome, and
it's just been very fun and very easy, and
it has
just feels.
And I think that this kind, and dare I say, like not to sound like a cornball or anything, but like when like and I forgot who I said or like where I heard it, but I mean it really is true when people say like when love is easy, like things just like. Okay, you can cut that out. But I meant to say more like in general, like when two people are like.
You can cut that out.
God damn it. But like no, like I'm quoting somebody else. I'm not necessarily saying the situation, but it's like, oh my god, you make me stress out. Right?
I just love giving you a hard time.
Kill me. I'm gonna hang myself with this microphone right now.
Okay, let's not say that. Let's not say that.
Resume. What I was saying was I heard that once and I was like it is true, like
I don't even think you finished.
No, I was gonna say like it is true. Like
finished. Did you finish?
No, I was gonna. No, that's all it was. It was just like it's easy with the right person, and it's been feeling really easy, like to do things. Like it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like like I gotta do this for this person, and like I gotta do this so that way I don't get mad, or that way things are good, or you just do stuff because it's easy and it's fun, and you know it's cool, and that's how it's been.
Yeah. What?
Nothing. It's just yeah. But yeah, that's how it all here.
What's been your favorite part about like this whole thing?
I think my favorite part has to be, because here's the thing, Natalie has seen my kind of like, cause I was never like obviously flirty with you. I throw like little hints whenever we'd like both be single, like try to make it known like, hey, I kind of like you or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never been like obviously flirtatious either. But you, on the other hand, you've never been flirtatious towards me in any sort of way.
At all.
And so hearing the first time that after we hung out, you sent me a text, and this will forever be the start of like, maybe
there's a chance
that you told me that again, maybe it wasn't necessarily flirtatious, but you're not one to compliment me just like that or like say anything, and I don't take it personal, but
and
it's
not in a mean way either.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just I never wanted to
give me any like sort of because you know how I am, and like I would try my best not to read into things, especially like if I knew the situation I was in. But this time it was like again, we were getting to know each other again, kind of like in a
Mhm.
different point of our lives. So
Yeah.
after the first time we hung out, and you told me that, you know, I look good and I look handsome, and
I don't think that was
no, or
the
not the
first
first
time we
time.
hung out.
The first time
I
we
think it
hung
was like
out.
the third time we hung
Yeah,
out that I had told you this.
third time we
I think
hung
so.
out, and it was the first time that we were both a little more comfortable with each other. Is I guess what I meant more to say, because like not that we weren't uncomfortable or comfortable, but it's more like we were really like we moved
Yeah.
past everything, and we were like really just there hanging
Yeah.
out with each other.
And I just want to say, I don't mean to burst your bubble or anything, but I did not
Burst
say
it.
you were looked handsome. I didn't
Is
say
that
that.
what? Oh, you look.
I
You
said
see,
that
you look good, right?
I said you looked good. That I really liked your outfit.
That's what you said.
That's what I said.
No, yeah, correct me. I think that's what I said at the beginning, but I don't know why.
I don't mean to burst your
No,
bubble.
no, not at all. Not at all. But I mean, it's not like you've never said it. So like now that you say it, it's like not that bad.
Now I will compliment
So yeah, so
you,
she
but-
did. So she did say that, and I like again, it just goes back to what I was saying, that you've never even like thrown a hint of like a compliment at me. Again, not because of any bad reason,
Yeah.
but more because of like you don't want to like mislead me or anything.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I was like, nah, hold up. Hey yo.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? I'm gonna out myself right now. I had texted Bianca saying that like I thought you looked good that day, and she was like, "Oh, girl, maybe don't say that to Pat."
That's crazy.
And I was like, "Oh no, I won't. Like I'm just saying that to you." And then I ended up telling you that anyways. 'Cause I
That's
was
crazy.
Like, I don't know. I like wanted to tell you.
Yeah, and that's why, because
And also like it wasn't anything crazy. Like
No,
I
it
literally
wasn't.
just told you that I liked your outfit.
it was
I don't know.
It was more like the you look good part that got me a little bit. I was like,
because I did say that. I'm pretty sure I did say that.
100% did.
Yeah, I did say that. I did say that.
But I think after what I was going with that is like what's been fun has been getting to know this like flirtatious side of you, where it's like I never thought I'd ever get to know, and it's like
Yeah.
now it's at me, and I feel like, oh, like this is fun, like I never
Yeah.
knew. And it's cool because like, yeah, we're still friends, but then you just added that on top, and it's like, oh, like me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and it's fun because it's like now I can actually like me too like let loose and like show you kind of what I'm like in that sense.
Yeah.
And you know, you've heard me talk about it and this and that, but like now, you know, being on the receiving end, you and me, it's like it's been fun, you know. It's like,
yeah.
you know, we're getting to know like
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you? What's your favorite part?
That's one of my favorite parts too. Just like getting to know each other on a different level, in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like at the beginning of us like flirting, there was a lot of tension. Like there was a lot of like,
Not good
I
tension
don't know.
either.
I don't know how to. Like we were kind of just walking on eggshells, like kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know like how to really go about this.
Yeah.
And I think just I don't know, because I feel like we keep learning like different things about each other,
Mm-hmm.
about like how we are in a more like relationship sort of way. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah, because now it's like we're not just friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're more than that.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't know, because we've only ever known each other as like best
Yeah.
friends, not like how we are in a
In a
relationship.
relationship.
And so I think that's like one of my favorite parts. And I think also, like I mentioned this to you earlier today, I think because me and you, like, we just work. And, but it's so nice to realize, like, oh, this is working so well. And it's so cool that it's working so well with you.
Mm.
Because you're my best friend, and like it's so cool that it's like
Out of all
it's
people.
like it's me and you,
Yeah.
you know, because obviously it'd be nice like if things worked out this way with like anybody, but like it's not just anybody,
Yeah.
you know.
And it just makes things kind of go a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's just cool because like it's working so well, and it's like you're somebody who I feel super comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could say or do something stupid, and
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't feel super embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's nice because it's like it goes back to that thing where it's like we both know each other so well, like you know like everything, you know, pretty much how our minds work. but now it's like we're getting to know this like side of each other that we never allowed ourselves to fully show, so it's like it's cool because you do stuff that is so unexpected to me sometimes, and I'm like, oh cool, like like that's awesome. Like
Like what?
like more like in the sense of like that, like even when you, and again, everybody, it's not like she's abusive or like she doesn't compliment me or like she like ignores me the whole time, but it's just like one of those things where it's like you've always been that one girl that I'm like there's no way, like there's absolutely zero chance, right? And then you tell me, well, now fast forward, you have told me about that you like, oh hey, like you look really handsome, or you look, this and that compliment. I'm just like I still like, I'm like, I forget that you like like in a way, like now you're actually letting yourself loose, and it catches me kind of off guard in a good way, because I'm like, oh, like damn, that's like that's nice. But it's just like that whole part's been fun, like exploring that side of each other. So I I agree with you. What has been like one of like your most memorable so far, like in this like short time, that like one of those things that you always like, it's probably gonna stick with you for a while?
The first date, like
the first date,
like you setting up the truck.
It
was
that's nice.
I think that for you,
for me, it was probably like, I want to say between different? I want to say like something that's gonna stick with me for a while is the way like our first kiss. Like,
okay, honestly,
I had a feeling you're probably gonna say that too, but you don't want to be like.
Well, because that was like the very, very first.
Yeah, that was and that will forever. And first thing honestly, I know, like that was straight out of like a movie. Honestly, like it was kind of.
That was crazy. It was like that was just not.
It was crazy.
That was not how.
That was not in the
night was supposed to go.
Not in. It was part of the plan. It was
that was not part of the plan at all. Actually,
it was.
So the fact that happened was really, really crazy. So that will definitely stay with me forever. Like I can remember specifics. I can remember specifics.
Yes,
from that night.
Can too. So that was pretty crazy.
And I'm not one to remember specifics.
No.
So. Yeah.
So I think for me that was like,
because that was a big deal.
Yeah, it
was a pretty big deal for us.
100%. That was for sure probably the most memorable thing so far.
Yeah, and that was something we kept to ourselves for at least 24 hours. So
at least 24 hours. At least 24 crazy. Hours. Yeah,
because I wanted to tell people. I was like,
because it was fun. It was fun to tell.
But at least my close 24 friends. Hours, it was something that I didn't tell anybody. Like for 24 hours, it's just mine. This is just mine and yours.
Let us enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I remember telling people, felt really nice, because it was like it's nice to like, and like to my close friends.
You didn't want to tell anybody.
Yeah, I personally didn't want to tell anybody, because I was kind of like personally I wanted to keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm very.
Which I totally get.
Yeah, and I'm very to myself, and I didn't understand at first, like because you told me like, oh, it might feel nice to tell people and this and that, and at first I was like, I mean, if you want to, like, go for it. But then you told me like, oh, you should tell people too, and I was like, I'll see.
I didn't want you to like go around telling a bunch of people.
It was more like sharing that experience with like a close person, which you did, and which you told me like, oh, you should share that with like somebody close to you, like whether it's your brother or like your friends or whatever. I remember I did tell my brother, but since he's not like into the lore as much, I guess it was more like I told one of my best friends, and it was nice because he knows not just of like all the good, he knows of all like little struggles that or like little chapter that we had and stuff, and so it was nice not to like get bashed by it, and more like he was really cool and supportive about it, and he was great, and I told him, and he was like, dude, like that's sick, like. And he was hyped for me. He did, again, knowing all the backstory and everything, like, he was like, oh, damn, like, you really did it. Like, you went through with it. But then he was like, dude, that's sick. Like, good for you.
Yeah, like, if you're not in our lives and you don't know, like, there is deep rooted
Yes.
Nat and Pat lore, and like
it's kind of ridiculous.
crazy.
I'm not gonna.
So if you don't know us personally, like it's just not as big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Why, like, so like, you know, I had my friend he told me, it's like, finally, you know, and like the comments like those like don't come from anybody. It comes from people that like have known us and like you know, literally seen us together, and it's like oh, like, you know, finally, bro, like oh, that took a while. And so I love my friend, my homie, for that. He's the best like person I could have possibly told. Aside from my brother, of course, I love my brother, but like again, my friends that have seen it, like, you know, I told him, and you know, it was really cool. And so and you were totally right, by the way, telling people. It felt nice because I was like, oh, like it felt good to know like there's also, and it's not like I need it, but it was nice to know that there was people excited for it, like as well, and it was cool. And so that relieved some like anxiousness from me of like, oh God, like what's gonna happen, or you know. But that was and here we are. Here we are, and it's
who knows when we're gonna go on our second date, but
who knows?
It's coming.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
This is more like a first date thing, but who knows?
I don't think we'll be doing this for future dates. But
no.
I think it was a pretty big deal, and I just wanted to
share it here on the podcast.
Yeah. But that's
that about sums it up, right?
That's about it. What? I don't know how long that was. That was probably like an hour and a half. But that's it. Keeping it short.
You can cut a lot.
Just keep it short.
It's because it's hard to like explain everything without like. It's because it like
there's a lot.
There's a lot of little moving parts that it's like I don't necessarily feel like I have the need to explain anything, but then I also feel like if I don't explain certain stuff, it's like you're missing out on like why or how or when, or you know, the timing of things, or like the way things happen, or like why they happen. It's like it's a lot of little details, but it's more for like the first date thing, and how it's been after that, and it's been dope. So that's I think that about wraps up my time.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It was a lovely time being here. And I hope
being here, we're just in my car.
we are. But it was lovely rehashing it and bringing it up again, and it's nice to remember. So you know, I love talking about it.
I know. It is fun talking about us. It's fun.
It is. But again, thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks.
And looking forward to, you know, any future fun episodes.
You'll for sure. All of you guys will for sure be hearing more of Pat. Pat loves talking and talking and talking.
I am
and so do I.
Certified yapper. That is not. I am not putting that title on myself. I have heard it multiple times. So.
Yeah, but we both love talking.
Yeah, we do. We could be here for hours.
Oh, we could. We literally could.
Yeah.
We could talk for so long.
I think at this point we're both kind of like looking at each other thinking like, okay, we've probably been talking for like a fat minute now.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry for anybody who listens to this, because it's going to be a little long.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to want to hear all this.
But if you made it through the very end, we appreciate you. And we hope that you enjoyed a little bit of the Pat and Nat lore. And so that's it. Until next time, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.